Hey guys, welcome back to Guns I Know. This is episode 2, the second episode. In the first episode, I talked about a bunch of guns, but the most voted gun, in terms of the comments, was this gun, the Galil SAR. I'm going to talk more about it. I have a few other guns that I brought to the forefront as well, some from Battlefield 3, some from not Battlefield 3. In fact, only one of these is from Battlefield 3. On my left, I have two Yugoslavian M72, sort of like RPKs. They're not chambered in 5.45, so they're not RPK 74s. They're actually 7.62 by 39. And I brought those in to sort of talk about stamped versus milled Kalashnikovs. Also brought in a Galil ARM, which is the bigger version of a Galil SAR for more comparison. And then I brought in one air gun, an AR-15. It's a civilian version of an M16, and we'll talk about that as well. So first off, let's talk about the Galil SAR. The Galil SAR here is one that I showed last week. It is based off of the original Kalashnikov design from the 1940s and 50s, but has gone through a lot of changes. So the first thing I wanted to do was to show you guys how to disassemble one of these things. Well, the first thing we do is we take out the magazine, make sure it's empty. This one's empty, but it's always good to make sure. In order to move the slide, I need to put the safety down, and so I'm going to check that. I don't see anything. Now, you can't see anything from this angle, but you have to trust me on this one. So I've wrapped the slide. It is now ready for disassembly. So this is how you do it. This methodology of how you disassemble this is common for nearly all the different AKs out there. So if you've done it once, you can do it for all of them. First thing we do is we push this the spring in, and then we are able to pull the dust cover off. And so now we have the dust cover off, and that's looking good. Once the dust cover is off, all the internals are exposed, we can push this spring in again and pull it out, and now it's out. And from here, we can then take the bolt carrier and bolt off. We pull it back, we kind of release it a bit, we give it a twist, we pull it out, and we place it as such. Now, the Galils have a bit of a different kind of mechanism. Most AKs have regular gas tubes that stay in place and have to be pulled out. This one just slides right out. And that's it. We just did a field strip. This gun is ready to be cleaned, and yeah, that's about it. We can do a few more things just to show you. We can take out, for instance, the bolt from the bolt carrier. It just spins right out, and if we want to put it back in, we just place it in place and then put the lugs, line them up with the holes, and pull them up, and we're good to go. So all AKs are designed out this basic concept. We have a bolt and bolt carrier. Remember, it's a long stroke gas piston system, and so what does that mean? It means bullet comes out of the barrel. When the bullet comes out of the barrel, there's a bunch of gas that propels it outside the barrel. That gas builds up and is in a lot of high pressure state. There is a hole here in the barrel that allows it to be diverted. Once it's diverted, it pushes against the gas piston. It pushes it back because the gas has nowhere to go. And we know that it's going to take the least path of resistance, which is the bolt carrier, because it's not fixed. Everything else here is fixed. And then it pulls back. And then once it pulls back, the gas gets exhausted from these little holes. You can see these little holes on this gas tube right here. And that's how it operates. It's really that easy. Most guns use some kind of gas piston system, be it a short stroke or a long stroke system. This AR-15, on the other hand, uses a gas impingement system, which actually doesn't use a piston. It actually uses the gas to push the bolt carrier itself all the way back, as opposed to a piston. But we'll talk about more of that in another episode. So, more about the Galil. Galil is used by a number of militaries. It's used by the South African military. It's used by Colombia. I believe it's even used by Myanmar, which is now known, well, which was known as Burma. And as I mentioned before, it has a milled receiver. Now I'm going to put this back real quickly and then show you guys what I mean by milled versus stamped receiver. It's why I brought out these two Yugoslavian M72s into the episode here. So we put the gas tube back, just make it all snug. We're going to put the gas piston in next. along with the bolt and bolt carrier. And then we take the recoil spring, we put the recoil spring back, and then we place it. I'm going to place it a little bit below. A little trick you can do is that you can position the recoil spring in a way that you can, it's not in place per se, but it makes putting the dust cover up a whole lot easier. And there we are. So now it's ready to go. I'm going to put the mag back even though it's empty. We do a function check, which is to say that we just pull it back, and then we can aim it in a safe direction. We get that trigger pull, it's good to go. Do it again, and looking good. So I'm going to put the safety back on, like that, and we're going to move on to these Yugos. So I'm going to put this one like right next to the other one. There you go. So, this is a Yugoslavian M72 milled version. It's just like a Galil in the sense that it has a big, thick milled receiver made out of one solid piece of steel. It's much heavier, and I have a 75-round drum mag on here as well, just for shits and giggles. Operates very similar to the Galil, but it's a very heavy receiver. It means there's a lot more weight here in this area compared to the rest of the gun. Now, this gun is a very heavy gun. It's one because, I mean, especially when you got a 75-round drum that's full of ammo, this one's empty. But look how thick the barrel is. The barrel is so thick, it's got these sort of ribs, not for your pleasure, but instead for getting the heat off the gun faster. And it has a bipod. And this is a very heavy gun, and I want to show you this because it's of the nature of this receiver. Now, this gun is a milled gun. I have another Yugo M72 here that is a stamped gun. Stamped gun. Now, how can you tell the difference between the two? Well, one, it's made out of a sheet of steel instead of a milled piece of steel, and it has all these rivets. So you got a rivet here and there and there and there, and these rivets are a telltale sign that it's a piece of steel that has clamped on to the front trunnion and the rear trunnion, which are the sort of components that hold the buttstock and hold the barrel and the front sight block and what have you. Beyond the receiver, there's a few other cosmetic differences, but for the most part, they're basically the same gun, but it's a much lighter gun. I want to say a whole lot lighter, so maybe only a few pounds lighter at the very most, but it's still a bit lighter. And you'll notice this one's a lot more beat up. This one's my beater, Yugo M72. And I really enjoy it, though. I mean, I love bipod guns because I can put the bipod down, and I gotta be careful. I don't want to scratch this glass on my coffee table. But you can put the bipod down and you can sort of get in there and get in there and bam, 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 bam. It's a lot of fun. But it operates just like the other one. It's, it has a way that you can unlock it once I put the safety, but I'm not gonna mess with that right now. I'm gonna just take this all off, put it away. So, going back to the Galils. I know I'm taking a bit of a time here, but let me show you guys the difference between those two, just briefly. Not in the game, because they're much older guns. What's that? This one's made in the 70s, this one's made in the 80s. But let's talk about the Galil ARM, which is this next gun that looks a lot like the other Galil. The Galil ARM is nearly identical to the Galil SAR, but it has some major differences. One, it has a carrying handle, which means you can carry it around. And two, this is my favorite part of it, it has a bipod. Now this bipod is kind of wimpy. It's kind of wimpy compared to these other big bipods here, but remember, this is chambered in a much smaller caliber. It's 5.56 as opposed to 7.2x39, as we saw with these guns. And it's as much lighter gun as it need to have as much of a bipod. A lot of gun enthusiasts will say this bipod's kind of shitty. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a very easy bipod to use. It's not as sturdy compared to other bipods. These ones are sturdy. These ones you can put down and they won't make the gun move at all. Look how much movement I get in the gun though. Now, the counter to this is, well, if I'm covering multiple positions and I want to be able to get it around, or I'm shooting a moving target, whatever it may be, then this may be more advantageous. But again, the recoil is so easy. It's so manageable on these Galils that you really don't need a big bipod to do it. That's what kind of makes it really neat about this. In addition, there's another sort of neat aspect about this Galil is that I actually spent a little bit extra money and got some engraving done on it. This actually has the original Israeli engravings. Now these aren't the real engravings in the sense that this was made in Tel Aviv or wherever they make it. Instead, there's a guy that does custom work who engraved the Israeli military symbols and the symbology or things of that nature. I think that's pretty neat. And yeah, I like Galils a lot. I think they're a lot of fun. But anyway, let's go to the questions of what people asked me about Galils and other things. Someone had asked, I have or do you own a suppressor? If so, was the process any more difficult than getting a SBR? Also, was the Galil considered SBR? Again, I'm saying this verbatim. So for the suppressor question, suppressors are, I don't own any suppressors for one. Now, I don't own them not because I have an issue with them, but instead because I go to shooting ranges where a lot of other people shoot. And so even if I have my gun suppressed, I'm not going to get a whole lot out of it because I'm still going to be hearing the other guy over there shooting his firearms without being suppressed. And so it sort of negates the issue. Eventually I'll get one. A friend of mine got a Surefire suppressor in 5.56, and he played around with it in 5.56 and in 5.45. Because remember, with the suppressor, if you have a certain caliber, you can suppress smaller calibers that are smaller than that caliber it's designated for. It's not going to be as good as a suppressor designed for that given caliber, but it still works. So I played around with that with him, and it was actually a lot of fun. Maybe sort of reconsider about getting a suppressor. That being said, buying a suppressor is no different than buying any sort of Title II firearm. Title II firearms are suppressors, short-barreled shotguns, short-barreled rifles, any other weapon AOWs, which are sort of these odd pistol-like shotguns, and machine guns. The process is uniform across almost all of them. It's as follows. 1, you go to a gun dealer. You find a gun or machine gun or rifle or suppressor you want to buy. 2, you buy it, put cash down. 3, he gives you a bunch of forms, most notably a Form 4, and you write down, he writes down his information, you write down your information on it. You get a photo that is of a passport size photo. You take your little glue stick like from grade school and you glue stick it on there. You go to your sheriff or your chief of police, whoever your chief local law enforcement agent is. You get a signature from him. You take all these forms, and as well as a form that certifies that you're a citizen, which is just a signature. That's all it is. And you write a check to the ATF for $200. You wait 6 to 9 months, and then the ATF sends it back to you, and then you pick it up, and that's the end of it. It's a burdensome process in the sense that it takes some time, but it's not a hard process. It's just paperwork. It's like going to the DMV and getting a new driver's license. So that's the really short spiel about Title II weapons and how to get them. Next question. So do you have a license to carry fully automatic firearms? Well, let's break these two questions up into two separate things. 1, do I have a license to carry firearms? I suppose he meant concealed. Yes, I do, and most states in the U.S. you can get them. There's only a few states out there that you can't get them in, but almost all the states, the vast majority of them, you can get a concealed carry license. It takes training and paperwork and other things like that, and there's some amount of proficiency that you have to show, and you can't be a felon and other things along those lines. But nonetheless, it's something that I have and a lot of other people have. It's becoming quite common now. Secondly, fully automatic firearms. Well, there is a misconception out there that you need to have what is incorrectly identified as a Class 3 license to get a firearm that's fully automatic, and a lot of people call them Class 3 firearms. They're actually Title II firearms. Class 3 is a dealer's license, but even having a Class 3 dealer's license doesn't allow you to possess fully automatic firearms. You're actually looking for what's called an SOT, or Special Ordnance Tax, which is a secondary license. It's actually Special Occupancy Tax, not Ordnance Tax. I messed that up. That's okay. And you have to have those two things to buy and sell these firearms for the purposes of commerce. If you as a citizen want to own any of these, you can do it just like how I described a few minutes ago in the video. It's not some kind of secret club that you have to be a part of or get a license for. You just have to fill out this paperwork and register the gun. Remember, registration is different from licensing. Registration is you are registering an object, like you register your car at the DMV. Whereas if you do not need a license for any of these things. A license means that you yourself are a licensed person to do something. at least federally speaking, you don't need a license to own or possess or utilize these kinds of Title II firearms. So that's enough about that. Last question. What does, for example, 7.62 by 39 or 5.56 by 45 mean? I know it's cartridge, but what are those numbers like length or overall size? Well, it's just that. You hit the nail on the head. The first set of numbers represents the diameter, and I actually have a bullet here. I got a bullet. I have bullets all over my house just laying around. Just shows I don't have kids. So this is a 7.62 by 51 NATO, 7.62 millimeters in diameter for the bullet, and then the case length is 51. And so this case length here is 51 millimeters. It's that simple. Now, this is a whole lot different than, let's say, for instance, when you talk about different shotgun gauges. Those are a whole different nomenclature. Just like how 40 Smith & Wesson is a different type of designation. One, it's in a different type of measuring standard. And so always be careful when you're talking about these sort of designations. If it says number by number, number X number, then it's clearly all in millimeters, and it's clearly talking about diameter and case length. So all that being said, one last thing. Let's go to the AR-15 while we still got a few minutes. AR-15, haven't done a video on this yet, but this is a fun gun. This is an AR-15 that I have. It's a short-barreled rifle. It's real tricked out. It's an LMT lower, Lewis machine tool. It says restricted for government and law enforcement use only. This receiver was made before the expiration of the assault weapons ban, and so it doesn't matter anymore. I can own this, and I have it papered. And I also have a Mega Arms upper, which is sort of this billet upper. It's really cool. I got a set of backup sights. I think I got a Troy backup sight here, and I got this other one. I forget who makes this one. And I got a really nice PWS PWS muzzle device. It's sort of a flash suppressor and a compensator at the same time. And I have an Aimpoint Comp 2, not in the game, but it's a really nice sight. You can turn it on and do from there. I don't know. You will probably won't be able to see it, but it's a pretty cool red dot sight. And I have what else do I got? I have this sling. I'm just gonna put a sling on just because it's a lot easier to hold than not to hold. And this sling has sort of a ability to ratchet back and forth. And I have a foregrip. This is not a regular foregrip. This is sort of a neat foregrip using a Krebs custom offset side. It allows me to hold it on the side as opposed to below. It's just ergonomically, it works a little bit better. And so what I can do is I can sort of move this in a bit and then get a really nice, side go. And you can see that I have the dust covers on, so I can't actually see anything, but I can get in there real tight and, have a nice cheek weld and have fun. This is it's got safe and fire. For those who know AR-15s, if I'm doing this, it means that the hammer's already pulled back. And so I can just do a safety check though, just to show you guys that there's no magazine there, and then I can pull this back and it's empty, so that's good. And pull it back forward. So AR-15, there's a bunch of ARs in the game. There's a bunch of variants of ARs in the game. You got the M4, you got the M4A1, you got the M16, A3, M16A4. They all operate nearly identically, with few exceptions in the sense that they have different fire controls, so they're in a 3-round burst or a full auto, or they have different barrel lengths. So an M16A3 or A4 is going to have a longer barrel or perhaps a longer gas system. This uses a gas impingement system. Same concept as the AK, except instead of a piston, the gas is diverted and then pushed into the receiver. It's pushed from here. The gas actually blows into the bolt area to cycle that bolt. There's a bunch of other AR-15s in this game as well that are they're not true AR-15s, but they're close to it, like the M416 or the M417. These or the MK11. These are all variants of which the HK guns, which are the 416 and 417 and M27 IAR, use gas piston short stroke systems, and so they're a lot more similar to an AK that they actually have a piston system here instead of a gas impingement system. They are sort of the creme de la creme of ARs right now. You have the, what else? You have the MK11, which is a gas impingement system in 7.60 by 51 NATO as opposed to 5.56 by 45. And then for those that are wondering, this thing here is just basically I forget the name of it is. It's a mag cover, and it allows you to put it on something without scratching the mag, and it gives you a more secure something to brace it on. Nonetheless, though, a lot of different ARs in the game, and we'll be doing an AR video soon. I actually already recorded it, I just haven't edited it yet. I just haven't gotten around to it. Anyway, this video has gotten pretty long. I'm going to stop right here. If you want to see more of the AR, you can upvote that and send me questions about it. If you want to have questions about one of these other guns, like the M72s or the Galils, upvote those and send me a question there. Look forward to your questions and look forward to answering them. So until next time.